Howdy, fellas. How's it going? You having a good one? That's good to know. Anyways, Jarhead71 here, or Isaiah Singleton, as is my real name, back here with another amazing video. And today might be a little bit of a controversial one, but this is for my US Issues project, where we talk about like a current issue, or I guess not necessarily, but like talk about it, just give like kind of our kind of opinion on it and like how it works. Just give like a basically like detailed little rundown. But right now, currently like kind of hot tea issue is the impeachment inquiry on whether or not we should go into impeachment against our current president, Donald Trump. And this is a big deal for a lot of reasons, because we haven't had an impeachment of a president for like a decent amount of time. Like Bill Clinton was the last one, but like he passed the impeachment with flying colors. So it's like this is a big one because, well, again, like potentially being able to take the current president out of office is like a really big deal politically, and like there's a lot of things there that can affect our lives. So basically, just a brief little setup for it. The impeachment inquiry against Donald Trump, who is the current president of the U.S., it was initiated by the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, on September 4th, 2019. And this was after a whistleblower. If you don't know what a whistleblower is, basically it's like an insider who kind of like tells a secret. So a whistleblower, for example, would be, let's say, someone at Amazon who knows about this new service they're going to release, but it's supposed to be really like down low, and then they just secretly tell the press, hey, Amazon's doing this new thing, but don't tell anybody that I told you. And like that can be both good and bad, because it's like you're betraying trust, but you also are revealing sometimes important information. But a whistleblower alleged that President Trump had possibly abused his presidential power by withholding military aid as a means of pressuring the Ukrainian president, who I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, Vladimir Zelensky or whatever, to perform two favors for him. For one, he wanted the Ukrainian president to pursue investigations of Joe Biden and his son Hunter, and to support a conspiracy theory that Ukraine, not Russia, was behind interference in the 2016 presidential election. Russian interference in the election is also another really big thing, and the FBI report by James Comey kind of did like simply say, yeah, there wasn't really any good evidence that Donald Trump colluded to mess with the election, and that kind of just went away. But what Trump wanted to do was to get the Ukrainian president to support conspiracy that Ukraine was actually behind the interference, because again, it's still kind of a hot issue. But more than a week after Trump had put a hold on the military aid, like he put a hold on this military aid, and then he made those requests that I just talked about in a July 25th phone call with the Ukrainian president, which the whistleblower said was possibly intended to help his re-election bid, because Trump really wants to get re-elected again, because I mean, like, that's his politics. Like, you want to get re-elected. So that was why he would do it, to like try and like pressure Ukraine into helping him with that. And big thing, is this illegal? Like, is this worth impeachment over? And here's where I give my opinion, and I'll give both sides. For one, the really big argument on the side of pro-Trump is, well, this is just a partisan witch hunt. And yes, that can definitely seem to be a really big appearance, because the second Trump got in office, I don't think we've ever seen a bigger outrage over someone being elected president. Like, the Democrats have not wanted him to be president. But again, attempting to, as what this whistleblower alleges, blackmailing another country into helping you get reelected, yeah, I don't think that's okay. But are they picking at straws? I think the big thing is as they're an inquiry, we aren't into full-on impeachment yet. That will be voted on by the House. But I think the big factor will be if the whistleblower actually comes out and reveals their personal identity and testifies. I think that can absolutely put a ton of stuff away, and it'd be like, oh, he's just lying for attention, or he's just lying for political gain, or it turns out he was actually telling the truth, and like this is a serious controversy. So where are we in the current like stages on this right now? Basically, with the inquiry was started, obviously, as I said earlier, in September 24th, but by Nancy Pelosi, because she's the Speaker of the House, and she is a Democrat, so, like, obviously, Like, that makes a little bit more sense that, like, because Republicans aren't really going to want to impeach their own candidate. Like, even if they know their own candidate has done something wrong, that's the case with both parties is, well, we just kind of want to look away and pretend that didn't happen, because if they get taken out of office, it's going to be bad for us. And, like, that doesn't really help. But, The big part started in the early depositions, which happened from October 11th to 17th, where a bunch of people begin to like testify in front of like intelligence, foreign affairs, oversight, House committees. Like, hey, this is what we think is going on, and specific things that like we think might be relative to this. And obviously, a big part that was ingrained in that is on October 23rd. And kind of onwards, there was like a large amount of Republican protests. Like, well, wait, this isn't fair that you can have an impeachment meeting behind closed doors. But then again, those laws talking about impeachment meetings were passed by Republicans when they had control of the House. So it's like, well, I guess that doesn't really make sense. But as it continued and more like developments came out, a lot of White House officials, they wanted like to be like the people hearing for like the impeachment inquiry. They wanted to hear from them, but like White House officials, including John Eisenberg, Deputy Counsel to the President for National Security Affairs. I'm sorry if this is a little bit complicated. Like, I'm not totally 100% sure what like each of these mean, but like it's their role. Michael Ellis, the Senior Associate Counsel to the President. Robert Blair, a top aide to the Chief of Staff, and Brian McCormack, an official with the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB for short. However, none of these guys appeared for the scheduled depositions where they would talk. And it's like, well, wait, what the heck is going on? This sounds like a lot more shady. But eventually, there became a resolution of being in public hearings. Like, actually, let's just get down to business. Like, let's try to get Trump actually in here to talk to us. And we're still in, like, kind of, like, earlier stages because like, there's still documents being released on, like, like transcripts are released on people's, like transcript of the interviews and whatnot, because nobody heard about them because they were closed doors. Like, they happened with just representatives from the House and just the people giving statements. And following release of the public transcript, Donald Trump has said that they have been doctored and well, that's not fair testimony because they're going against me. So, and that's kind of like up to date on what happened. So where do we go from here is the big thing. And I know this is probably what a lot of you guys are wondering watching this video is, well, what happens from here? Like, what do we do? Okay, well, sweet. There's been an inquiry and everything. But this isn't 100% set in stone that he's going to be like impeached. Like, this is obviously the closest he's gotten impeached. Whoops. Knocked over my lamp here. But like, this is the closest he's gotten to being impeached. Like, all of his, but I mean, there's a lot of people that have testified. Like, this list I'm just looking at, like, I don't even want to name all their names, but like a lot of people who have, but like, where do we go from here? So we obviously need to go farther. I think the biggest thing will obviously be getting Donald Trump to actually testify. Like, if Donald Trump can't testify, then like if we're impeaching the president over, hey, you did this and that's not okay, like, we need Donald Trump to testify. But it is slowly getting there, and like the House is slowly gaining support. Like, I think at an original vote they took, almost all the Democrats voted for impeachment and almost all the Republicans voted no. But as in the public polls, the majority of Americans, I don't know the exact number, but I believe it's around 52% support impeachment and only around 44 don't support it. And then the other, what is that, like 52 plus 44, that's like 90. And then like the other, like 4% of people don't really have an opinion. Like 1 in 25 people, if you ask, I don't really care if he's impeached or not. I don't really give a crap. And it's like, well, I guess that can make sense because it's not a huge scandal yet. But going from here, this will either go from an inquiry to a full-on impeachment if a court finds that there's enough, like, actual legitimate, like, yes, this was an impeachable offense, and we're really going to start like a trial here. And that's when like the big stuff will come out. Like all the people will testify. Donald Trump will testify. The whistleblower might come out and like reveal themselves. So we will see then what happens. And I want to get your guys' opinion. Do you think that this is just a partisan witch hunt and they're nitpicking at like a testimony we don't think is true? Or do you think this is a legitimate thing like, well, he might have actually done something really wrong and we actually really need to look into this and not just throw it out? So that's where I hand the question off to you guys, because this is a current issue and has multiple opinions on this. But I hope through this video, I know I like elaborated a little bit too much and it might be a little bit complicated, but I hope through this you understand the impeachment inquiry better, and I encourage you guys to like think about it and garner your own opinions and do research yourself, because this is a big current issue like in our country right now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video.